Committee meeting. If everybody would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Legislators Yankee and Crowley are unable to attend, so I've asked Chairman of the Legislature, Sage, to please sit in. Diane, roll call, please.
Legislator Crowley, Legislator Yankee, Chairman Elton.
Here. Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is the acceptance of minutes from June 10th, June 16th, which is a revised where we had some clarification, and July 17th. Okay. Item 4 is reconsideration for inclusion of a parcel in the Putnam County Agricultural District. Attorney of BC, I guess you're up. Okay, and I got a couple questions for you before we get going. Are you here as legislative counsel, or are you here as a representative of the law department?
I'm here in both.
Well,
There's no conflict in the
there is a conflict in this. I got a big problem right now with that, okay? There is a conflict.
In this particular issue, there's no conflict of the positions with respect to.
And the second thing is you initiated this, and in the interest of transparency, you said it's stamped confidential.
Yes, it needs to be discussed in executive session because it has to do with litigation that's pending.
What can be discussed in public before it is necessary to go into executive session?
I would say nothing because the litigation is pending.
So we can't tell the public what this is all about.
Well, I mean, the title of the document gives the nature of the inquiry.
Okay? Because, we're talking all these things about transparency, and yes, I understand that there has been an Article 78 filed against the county, but there's nothing that you can share with us, because I see there are people here, and I see there are farmers here, and I think they should know what's going on.
Well, the docket is public. Anyone can search the docket and can review the docket with respect to that. But, I mean, as for the stipulation, that is a settlement discussion which is confidential and cannot be discussed outside of executive session.
And we don't have a legislative attorney here, so I could question your opinion on that.
I am present here to
You
answer that
can't
question.
serve two masters, Heather. We've had problems with the law department where we've been at odds in the past, okay? And we have not had a legislative attorney here for pretty much all of the year, and this is something where, way before we even had this meeting, I would have really liked to have discussions and details set forth on this.
Well, respectfully, the role of the county attorney and the county attorney's office is as the attorneys for the legislature, and there is statutorily, that is their role. The only time that there is a need for a separate legislative counsel is in the event that the county attorney is unable to attend. Our office has been available, is available. I've made myself available to any legislature who has any questions with respect to this. And there's no conflict in the position of our office or the legislature as to this.
Well, I'll tell you where my conflict comes from right now. I disagree with your opinion, and in executive sessions, I'll give you a basis of why I disagree with your opinion. And I don't have a legislative attorney who can assist me with that disagreement.
Well, the purpose of the legislative counsel is to advise on parliamentary procedure.
No, I disagree with that, and I want the record to reflect that. That's what the law department is telling us. Traditionally, the legislative counsel has been way more than a parliamentarian, and until this year, we've always had a legislative counsel, not a legislative parliamentarian. To the best of my recollection, after whatever circumstances, stripped us of a legislative attorney, the RFP that was issued without any input from the legislature was for a parliamentarian only. And any other legislators want to chime in on that? Does my memory, yes?
Well, I wasn't here last year. I would just make mention, I'm not going to necessarily disagree with anything that's been said on either side here, but, and I'm not on the committee, but, you know, I would offer for the committee's consideration that we stick with the matter in front of us on item 4. There's a lot of stuff we can get into. And again, I'm not on the committee, so of course I'll defer to the committee, but I'm prepared to talk, whether it's here or in executive session, about item 4 as a regular legislator, and if it comes up in the full at that point as well. But that's just my 2 cents.
Okay, because if it comes up in the full, it's going to be public. Legislator Sage.
Well, I would just like to consider a motion to go into executive session so that we can discuss.
There's a motion to go into executive session. Second. All those in favor? Aye. 5, please let the record show at 5:36, we're entering executive session. Okay, it's 6:30, we've come out of executive session and no action was taken. I see there's a lot of members of people from the public here, and we'd very much like you to comment on this issue. This cannot be a back and forth because there is litigation, but anyone who would like to comment on this agenda item, please state your name and come on up, and if you wouldn't mind, please come to the table so you can use the microphone and we can hear everything. Thank you. And again, this is comment, this is not a back and forth.
My name is Christina Stassi. I'm the chair of the Ag Board. So the first thing that I would like to comment on is on June 3rd, I received an email from Trish McLaughlin, and she asked me to give her some information about the vote that we had had. And she asked, what was my vote on the Lepler application? Which farm was it? I'm being asked to attend a meeting that he is having with Kevin Byrne in the morning, along with Barbara. Just want to make sure I know which farm it is. I find that a little inappropriate, if not unethical. No one from the Ag Board was invited, that I know of, to this meeting that was to discuss the rejection of the application. And then regarding the public record of the, I don't know what this is called, the lawsuit, verified petition.
We can't discuss the litigation.
Excuse me?
The litigation can't be discussed, they can't comment on it.
I know that. So within that, it states that the original Rainmaker Farm is known for having produced some of the top horses in the reining discipline nationally. I don't know that as a fact. I only know that because I was told that, not just I. So Rainmaker on Joe's Hill Road was sold on or about May 11th, 2023. And there was an interim where there was no Rainmaker. Rainmaker East had not been formed yet. And then Rainmaker itself was dissolved. Rainmaker itself was dissolved on 7/24/24. So there was a period of time where Mr. Lepler didn't own any property that was in Ag District. So he was not in Ag District at that time. It also states in this petition that they stated that, as set forth in the application, Rainmaker East is an equine commercial breeding operation. There were no horses on the property. Somewhere in here, it also says that he owns 10 horses that were not on the property. We were not informed of where these horses were, if they were in Putnam County or not, and if they were in Putnam County, they still need to be on the land. There are many times in here that it states...
Respectfully, that's a misstatement of law.
Sorry?
That's a misstatement of law.
What I just
They don't have
said?
to be on the land.
Yes, it does, and I can...
No, it doesn't.
You just told me there's no back and forth.
Yeah, this is,
Legislature, I'm not.
But I can talk to you?
You can talk to me.
And you can talk to me. So I'll read you the law. If you just give me a second. So the law states, a commercial equine operation means an agricultural enterprise consisting of at least 7 acres and stabling 10 horses. Not limited to riding lessons, trails, blah, blah, blah. Now, the part that you like to quote in your thing was notwithstanding any other provision of the subdivision, an agricultural enterprise that is proposed or in its first or second year of operation may qualify as a commercial operation. He's not in his first or second year of operation. They're not operating at all.
Proposed. Proposed is the operative word.
But it's not in operation.
It doesn't have to be, the section you just read, you're misinterpreting. It says proposed or in first or second year of operation.
Okay, and when you speak to New York Ags and Markets, which, did you contact them at all to get clarifications on these?
No, I'm an attorney. I can read a statute,
And so can I. I can read.
except you
So-
just misstated.
Okay, let's
So
go.
when you speak to
Please go
Ags and
ahead.
Markets, the Ags and Markets says that you have to have horses on the property. If you don't have horses on the property and you don't have infrastructure, you don't have a farm. What you will have in the future, what you're going to have, what your business plan says will come to fruition, that's not the pertinent information that they base this on. It's what do you have right now. And then it says in here many times that the Ag Board voted to not include it because of those two factors. There was no infrastructure and there were no horses on the property. So if we're to include any farm that has a business plan that says, I'm going to get goats, I'm going to get horses, I'm going to build a barn, then there would never be any denials or not deny. We don't deny. We vote to not recommend they be included. And the ag inclusion begins on April 1st. The applications must be in by April 30th. We have 30 days from April 30th to make our visits as an ag board, to make our visits and to have a meeting to recommend to include or not include. We were within those mandated terms and we were in compliance. And as far as this item being on the agenda, to my knowledge, I'm the chair, so I would think that I would have been notified, and to my knowledge, the Ag Board was not notified about this important agenda item.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else make a comment? All right, please state your name.
Hello, my name is Scott Steiner. I'm an attorney at Hogan, Rossi, and Liguori, and we represent Rainmaker East LLC. So the purpose of tonight's meeting was to consider a proposed stipulation of settlement and a proposed resolution that would resolve the matter. There is a robust record already concerning this matter, and Jamie Spillane from my office has already addressed this matter with the legislature. The chairman of the Ag Board has already spoken to this prior to tonight and has also tonight said many of the same things that she had previously mentioned. And I'm not here tonight to substantively comment on, or to comment on what she said or to comment on the matters that are now in litigation. I understand that that an executive session was held, that no action was taken. What I would ask is that the matter be held over, that a special meeting be scheduled, hopefully promptly as soon as possible, so that we can meet the August 28th deadline, and that perhaps the county attorney and legislative council be present so that the legislature can obtain the advice that it determines it needs, and that we resolve this matter in that way. That would be my request. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else care to comment?
Good evening. Crystal Stoll from Putnam Valley. Good evening, legislators. At previous meetings, I stood before you to advocate for one of our county's startup farms. The farm I advocated for is currently in operation, actively producing fresh fruit and local honey. It is not a future project or a project under construction. Additionally, the owner of this farm has extensive expertise in agriculture, both academically and experientially. That said, it was the opinion of the Ag Board that this farm was not yet developed enough to be included in the Ag District this year, and the legislature voted in alignment with this advisory board. The vote was not arbitrary or capricious because it was consistent for all farms across the board. An affirmative vote for Rainmaker East, however, would disrupt this consistency. It would also set a precedent that could be perceived as yielding to pressure even when your initial vote was based on expert advisement and procedural integrity. I urge you to consider the weight of this decision and its implications to our community before you vote tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you. Anyone else? We have two people.
I'm not sure if this is the last one that has joined me up here, but I'm
Hello.
Jessica Jarrett, town of Southeast. I am the owner of Lobster Hill Farm, and we were one of the farms that were voted against inclusion last year. We were fully operational. We were meeting all of the requirements that we needed to meet, and we were still voted against. To vote in a farm that doesn't meet those things, that the Ag Council chose not to recommend for inclusion, just sets a terrible precedence for the whole process. When farmers are doing the things that they're supposed to be doing to meet the requirements and being recommended and not being voted in, and then on the opposite of that, not meeting the requirements and possibly having a second look just doesn't look good on everybody. Second thing, just to mention, we reached out to Kevin Byrne last year to meet with him when this all became a mucky situation for us, and we were not responded to. Multiple emails, multiple phone calls, multiple requests for a meeting, and we were just ghosted on the situation. So nothing in, this isn't on Mr. Lepler at all, but the fact that some people get meetings and some people don't, that also does not reflect well on the county and the government as a whole.
Thank you, Jessica. Sir, there's someone who hasn't spoken yet. Please let them.
Hi, Ariel Hanovich, Town of Patterson. I appreciate that all of you up here, I don't even have to tell you what I went through because you all know, and so do most of the people behind me. The thing that I wanted to reiterate, two things. You all know what I went through financially, time-wise, what the farm went through, what this did to us. So for me, the precedence is so important that I will continue to leave my farm and my child and come here and reiterate that as much as I can, because you have determined what is fair and what is right. And I will miss anything I need to at home to continue to prove that point. I also just want to reiterate what Lobster Hill said. We also contacted Kevin Burns multiple times, and you guys know the people back there that helped make that happen over and over and over again, very politely, very professionally, never responded to this day, never responded to. So just wanted to put that out there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Two more Jarretts.
Two more Jarretts. There's quite a few of us nowadays. Andrew Jarrett, Town of Southeast. Sorry, I woke her up. Not going to reiterate anything that was just stated, but yes, I think the one thing that I do want to make clear that I think everybody can be in agreement with is that nobody doubts Mr. Lepler is going to fulfill everything. We all know what he's had prior. It's nothing against him in any way, but without a doubt, the biggest concern is when many of us reach out to public officials and get ignored. Or I have to make it a point to step in front of people to actually have a conversation when I have requested them prior. You know, I'm a nobody, is what it feels like, and as a citizen of the county, you know, it's kind of a slap in the face. Obviously, I know what Mr. Lepler has done for this county, and I appreciate that, what he's built here, and what he will continue to do for the county. But clearly, there's some favoritism, you know, and that hurts as a citizen, and that hurts as somebody trying to start a small business here and, you know, continue to provide for the community, that I don't even get a second look or the slightest bit of a conversation, or when I finally do get a conversation, I'm accused of trying to tell people what to do with their property, and that's far from it. I've never been one to do that. Again, to set the precedence for the county law department to come to a settlement when they didn't want to last year with Ridge Ranch also seems very interesting. And makes you really question what they have a motive for. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I just briefly?
Once again, please identify yourself, sir.
This is Scott Steiner, Hogan Ross San Liguori, and we represent Rainmaker East LLC. So, with respect to the prior speakers, now, of course, agriculture is important, and we are not contesting or comparing ourselves to any of these other applicants, because with respect to Rainmaker Farm East, I believe that County Attorney DePasquale had spoken to the merits of Mr. Lepler's application. We've addressed the merits of Mr. Lepler's application, ultimately in litigation. And we believe that the litigation speaks for itself, the merits of Mr. Lepler's application speaks for itself, and that we are asking the legislature to follow through and to follow the advice of its own counsel, or to seek the advice of its own counsel. And if to do that, we need to put this over and hold this over and have a special meeting, we request that that be done. You know, all of the currents, of grievance that people are feeling, those, of course, need to be addressed by the legislature. But the meritorious application of another farm in Putnam County should not be made a scapegoat in that respect. So, thank you. We request that the matter be put over and that it be acted upon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please come to the microphone.
I gotta do my purple pen ritual. Sorry.
Isn't that the purple crayon, James, and the purple,
Yes.
Brett and the purple pen?
Brett
I'm
and
gonna
the
write a
purple
book.
pen, yes.
Welcome, Brett in the purple pen.
Yes, and to be clear, for the record, my name is Brett from Carmel Hamlet, not Brett in the purple pen, but if I can, I want to echo the last thing that, and I'm sorry, I believe Attorney Steiner just said. I don't think it's fair to make Rainmaker East a scapegoat, but I also don't think that that's a fair characterization of what's happening here tonight. When I spoke to you all at the full legislative meeting in July, I believe, when all the farms went for their final approval in front of the full body of the legislature, I implored you to do what you had not done in the past, which is to follow the advice of your expert ag board. That was something that was specifically mentioned when this county law department was defeated in Supreme Court in front of Judge Grossman. When the words arbitrary and capricious are thrown around, it is because applications of the law are not being applied consistently. And that's what had not been going on for years regarding the ag district. This year was a marked turn towards doing just that, applying the law consistently, applying the criteria consistently, applying the process consistently. The county has broad authority when it comes to inclusion in the ag district to meet that criteria, so long as it is being consistent and it is following the law. It has done that. When this ag district first came into existence in the early 2000s here in Putnam County, one of its intents by the people who fought to bring it here was that it would be a reward for the hardworking farmers that had an operation that was producing results in operation, and to reward them for their hard work with added protection from inconvenient or inappropriate intimidation from municipalities. Okay? Now what we're saying tonight is that you are rewarded if you know the right people. And that's not a personal attack at Mr. Lepler, who everyone I've ever spoken to, I've never met the gentleman, I know he's here tonight, but everyone I've spoken to has nothing but amazing things to say about him as a person, and I believe that to be true. I don't fault him for pursuing every avenue available to him. That's not the issue here. The issue is when it comes to our elected officials, you guys. And apparently in this case, according to the revelation tonight, our county executive. The reality is that we need to hold everybody to the same fair process, whether you are a working class family doing your damnedest to get your farm off the ground, or you're a wealthy developer connected to the political class. It shouldn't matter. That's the entire point of due process under the law. Tonight, we may be taking a step towards saying that doesn't matter, because the law in terms of ag and markets, in terms of our process here in Putnam County for including farms in the ag district, was followed. That is clear. You cannot show up on a site visit, not have any infrastructure, or the very animal for which you're applying for on the land itself, and then be in the ag district. It seemed to have been a pretty clear precedent that's been set. As I said, the county has broad authority on how to apply that process, as long as it is consistent with the law and consistent with its own stated criteria. You did that this year. You listened to your ag board. 8 farms got in, 2 didn't, and that's okay. If Mr. Lepler's farm was being scapegoated and being singled out, he would be the only farm who didn't get in. But the same criteria that was used to not have him in Rainmaker East, it was the same criteria used not to have in the second farm that wasn't allowed in. That is anything but arbitrary. That is anything but capricious. It is consistent. So tonight, the legislature, this committee, and then somehow, apparently, I'm not even sure of how this even got on the special full agenda yet, but fine. This body has an opportunity tonight to say one of two things. Either one, the ag board doesn't matter, the county's own process doesn't matter. If you have the means and you know the right people, you can get things done. And if you don't have the means, if you don't know the right people, and you just heard many people reached out to the very same people Mr. Lepler did and couldn't get a call back. So if you don't have those means, if you don't have those connections, you don't get that benefit. That's something you can say tonight if you vote yes on this. Or you could do the right thing. Stick with your expert ag board, volunteers who volunteer their time to make this happen. Stick with your process, stick with your criteria, and say that we have due process for everyone. Everyone follows the same rules. Everyone follows the same laws, the same criteria, the same timelines, the same deadlines. Those are your choices tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yaris. Anyone else?
Christina Stassi, Chair of the Ag Board. The application for Rainmaker East was mentioned, so I just wanted to go over a couple things that are in the application. In the drawings that were provided to the application, I would like to note that the drawings of the building that is going to be put up does not have any stalls in it, specifically stalls. It has a 2-bay garage, it has a livestock area, it has a tack room, and it has an office. And I'd also like to point out, there is no stallion breeding contract. There is simply a donor mare contract and an embryo rights purchaser contract. And if you need more information about that, I'm happy to give it to you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Someone in the back, okay.
Can I sign in after? This is different.
Yeah, why don't I just bring that over?
Here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Montgomery.
Cassandra Roth of Patterson and Pauling Village. I'm just going to speak as a member of the public, but I couldn't have said all of the things better myself. This year has been a stark difference from the past, not just last year, the past 4 years. Ridge Ranch, when they filed the litigation, was not because it was a first option. We tried everything. We went to ag board meetings, which were shut down from since they were denied in August to April of this year, trying to see maybe there was a misunderstanding, maybe the ag board didn't understand, maybe the legislature didn't understand the process. We were not even allowed to go to ag board meetings. There was no public access to ag board meetings. There was no YouTube that there is now to see what was discussed in ag board meetings. I'm glad we're there. This is so great that we're there. But we didn't get the option of that. We didn't get the option of any meeting with anyone in this county government. I had personally written, I don't know how many of you guys had seen, but countless, very long-worded emails, very respectful emails, but also emails that went past just the ag district, past what that was on composition of the ag board, composition of soil and water board, that those were incorrect. Those went to the legislature, they went to the county executive, and they went to the law department. All of them are ignored. I was wrong, didn't know what was happening, and where we are today is the ag board is corrected now. The soil and water board is very close to fully corrected now. And the ag district process, you guys did correctly, in my opinion. Now, I understand not everyone has reached out to ag and markets because we're attorneys, fine, not me, they're attorneys. They have attorneys that this county attorneys can call to clarify. I have called far more times than I ever would have thought I would call any government agency to speak to ag and markets. Now, I don't get to speak to the attorneys because I'm not an attorney, and because the legislature or the county law office is the only ones that have that avenue. To my knowledge, that's really not been utilized by the law department, and I think that would be great before there's any settlement or anything we're including them, because the 120-day clock is over. If you talk to ag and markets, the 120-day clock is the full period you have to submit any inclusions to the district. That clock ended on August 5th when the commissioner certified all of the parcels that we sent up. The only thing now would be a clerical error, which this would not be. So, in fairness, even if you did, it would be a nothing settlement, similar to the nothing settlement we were offered last year, which was go to ag and markets and see what they think. They don't have the authority to impose their judgment on this legislature. Ag and Market says the legislature has broad authority to run their program for the district as they see fit, to choose criteria as they see fit, stopping short of unconstitutional criteria, where 4% of Putnam County soils are prime farmland. The rest, you'd be saying that there would be no one. That's why the soils component was so important, that was not a requirement from the state. I didn't learn all this because I woke up knowing ag and district law and rules and everything. It's because I talked to the people at ag and markets. I've read as many things as possible. I don't want to know this much about ag and markets, ag district, or anything soil and water. I really didn't plan last year that this would be where we were, where I can quote that more than my standard areas of business at this point. So I really would hope that, for a number of reasons, I mean, to their point, every standard average member of the community has reached out, tried to get answers, tried to get even a conversation. We went, meet the executive at a coffee thing, and we were told, can't talk to you, ongoing litigation. It was shut down the ag board before we even filed litigation. It's again, it's to reiterate everyone's point, it's nothing against this applicant, but you denied that applicant, you also denied Mr. Wolkin. That was equitable, that was fairly applied across the board, and that is within your authority to do, and there's nothing. Everyone encouraged both of those applicants to come back next year. By the time a lawsuit plays out, I can speak from experience, you're in next year anyways. The difference is, reason why they filed the litigation was because it had been 4 years that this legislature, and not all of you here, weren't here for 4 years, but for 4 years, any recommendation from the Ag Board didn't matter, because the legislature voted whatever way against them and just denied every single farm for 4 years, irrelevant to the Ag Board's recommendations. Now, everything prior to that in the county history, clear as day, Ag Board made a recommendation, you appoint the people you feel can make reasonable decisions and are understanding of that. For the entire history of the program, every recommendation the Ag Board made is what the legislature accepted. 4 years ago, that stopped. That's why, after reaching out and trying to talk and trying to do it, it wasn't because we didn't want to wait till next year. It's because that is what had been said for 4 years. So I hope that that is something that's taken into consideration. It's not something that, you know, not every farm has the ability, and not every farm should ever have to, taking on county government to have a fair and equitable representation. So I hope that this is really given the weight it deserves, because if you do, it is setting the precedent that if I promise I'm going to farm and I farmed in the past, I should be in this year. And then that opens a floodgate. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'd briefly just like to respond, because there were representations made.
Well, I think this is really a public comment section.
Yes, I understand, but
What do you, guys, would you like? Excuse me?
You're the chair, but I would.
Actually, we have,
Linda.
Linda, please come before the microphone. Thank you.
Hi, Linda.
Hi. I just, I'm not speaking about the ag district, you know my issue.
Well,
Linda?
we're dealing with just that agenda item, please.
I wanted to speak about the grant applications.
I promise to get to that. We're still just at agenda item 4, if you would be so kind.
Okay.
We'll move along. Thank you.
I'm premature.
Ms. Beasley,
I just would like to comment.
please come to the microphone and just identify so everybody at home knows.
Heather Vissy with the County Law Department. First of all, I just wanted to comment on the responsiveness of my office. Ms. Roth commented that she got no response. I responded to her personally. I offered to speak to her personally. I spoke to her. I also spoke to Mr. Jared at length, spoke to her. And respectfully, as far as the floodgates that are proposed, the law that was just read into this legislative record specifically specified that farms could be either proposed or within their first or second year of business. The word "or" means exactly that, either or. The law does not prohibit startups from admission. There's a whole host of other qualifications and factors that have to be considered, and I'm not here to opine what has or hasn't been satisfied for any individual farm, but I just want to make it clear that the fact that a farm is a startup alone is not a deniable factor on that sole factor alone. So I just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please come up to the microphone.
Same name, same town. Just to clarify, because I might have said it a little bit more broadly, what is being said of the, all of the criteria that you take into consideration, it can be a startup in the first 2 years of operations, there's a little bit of conflation. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I have talked to ag and markets more than I've probably talked to my own family lately. There's a conflation between legislature has broad authority on who you admit into the ag district. That threshold, that qualification, the expertise and educational background, which last year was quoted as not germane to our petition, which we were describing why we picked that land, because they knew the animals wanted ridgier slopes, because that's where they thrive best, along with many donkeys. The whole point is Ag District, Ag and Market looks at those things on a case-by-case basis. If you're in the Ag District, if you would get protections. You can include any parcel you want to, actively farmed or not. You have that authority. They would only get the protections from Ag and Markets, and that's why Ag and Markets has that list of, is it actively farmed? Is it in a business-like way conducted? All of those things are what Ag and Market look at when some landowner who is in the district go to them and ask for help. You have broad authority to put a buffer parcel in. That is up to this legislature, which to redo Resolution 139, right? That got kind of chunked apart last year, and moving forward to establish clearer criteria. But right now, the criteria that you used was, are you actively on there and actively a farm? That was your choice to do. There's nothing in the law that prohibits you from doing that. There's nothing in the law that also mandates it has to be a farm, so I do concede to that. It doesn't have to be a farm today, but that's your decision. That's your broad discretion. The amount of times last year I heard from Ag and Markets, from the program directors on up, specifically saying the words, legislature has broad authority to run their program as they see fit. Complete. So you do have that broad authority. You are allowed to. I'm not taking away from, yes, there is startup periods for Christmas tree farms too. You had a Christmas tree farm that was denied last year because he didn't have enough trees planted. That's a much longer startup period. So if that's the case, then that man was arbitrarily denied, right? So it goes on. I do want to clarify that there was, I hope, the law department, I hope all of you reach out to Ag and Markets. Heck, invite them down for them to explain it in the flesh. And I think that would alleviate a lot of the confusion, because there's a lot of similar programs that are not the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hearing all this, I think that the prudent thing to do is, I'm going to make a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of tabling item 4, reconsideration? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're on agenda item 5. This is approval of a budgetary amendment, adjusting a capital fund budget for an ADA compliant ramp. This is funded by a CREST grant. Okay. This says it's from you're going to handle it for the Finance Department. Thank you, Commissioner Barosa.
So this is the ADA ramp that was actually built outside into the county office building. It was originally built using county funds, and I was able to obtain CREST funding. So this is the budgetary to
Correct, for the $50,000
Yes.
of state. Okay. Any comments by the committee?
Thank you for that.
By fellow legislators? Yes, legislator.
Question, what's the acronym CREST for, just so we can know? Or, I'm sorry, I put you on the spot, I'm just curious, I'm trying to, it's a state agency, is it? Or is it a? That's okay.
Authority, DASNY.
DASNY, okay,
It's
came through
Community
DASNY.
Resiliency, Economic Stability, and Technology.
That matches. Okay, good. And it's run through DASNY, okay, thank you. Thank you. Sure.
Any public comment? Yes.
More of a question than a comment. How much funding is there still for ADA projects and ADA money? Or is it just for county infrastructure that this ADA money can be used for?
So this in particular was a specific grant just for this project.
A grant just for this, so the funding can be a grant, it's not?
There is a, let's speak to that.
Through the chair, we do an annual ADA from county projects.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a separate fund.
Cool. Well, thank you, appreciate you.
Okay. I move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Agenda item 6 is for approval for us to create and formulate a proposed vulnerability assessment and climate adaptation plan. Boy, Barbara, you got some tongue twisters here.
So we were actually, the county planning department was actually approached by Hudson Valley Regional Council. They have grant funding available to help municipalities and counties with putting together this plan. So they offered to basically put it together with county planning department staff, and we'll do it free of charge. So this will basically take our hazard mitigation plan and make more recommendations to become more climate resilient.
Okay, so you're just asking for approval to create this, and we're currently bronze certified. I know this is something that's been very near and dear to Legislator Montgomery, who's been leading the charge. So any comments, questions by the committee?
And one other thing, this is a requirement if we want to pursue the silver.
That was going to be my question.
Yes.
Will this increase our ability to go for the next step in the
Yes.
Climate Smart program? Yeah.
Okay, any comments by the committee? Excuse me, by the legislature? Legislator Montgomery.
Just thank you and thank Alona Campo for working so hard on this. And I think it's timely because we're approaching the 5-year mark when we'll be redoing our hazard mitigation plan. So all of these things will coincide. Great timing. Thank you.
Okay. Any comment by the public? Okay. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, agenda item 7 is for approval of a grant application. This is for a SAM grant for facilities. It's going to go through Senator Harckham's office. It's for the Veterans Memorial Park to make an accessible and inclusive playground.
Yes, so we have received notice of the availability of funding, and this, we worked with the Office of People with Disabilities as well as DPW to identify the existing playground at the Veterans Memorial Park as in need of upgrade, and it would become an accessible, inclusive, and sensory playground. So that.
Right, and Senator Harckham has advised us of the availability of $100,000.
He actually notified the county. It's coming from Senator Harckham.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. Committee, yes.
Is this going to be replacing a park that's at the park, a playground at the park, or is it?
It's improving.
It's improving that particular
playground.
Okay. It's not adding another one, because that one needs to be improved, for sure. Okay.
Okay, any legislators? Public? Okay, I move to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item 8 is, thank you, Commissioner Barros. Agenda item 8 is for approval to convey a county property to the Village of Cold Spring. Now, I was given a note earlier tonight
Trustee Andrew Hall.
that Mayor Foley could not be here, but we do have with us, thank you, Trustee Andrew? Trustee Andrew Hall. Okay, and I believe we also have both Commissioner Fieri here. Okay. So being this is a resolution, County Attorney Avisi, will you please start? This is the approval for a conveyance, agenda item 8.
It's just from the law department.
I'm sorry, I don't have familiarity with that.
Okay, we're asked here to approve to convey a parcel, Village of Cold Spring, and there's a resolution here unnumbered to 2025 to do this, okay, and it says it's from the law department.
I could help if you'd like.
Absolutely, and actually, Commissioner Fieri, can you also assist Legislator Montgomery?
Through Chair, it's a parcel that the outflow from kind of the upper part of the village flows into the basin of the Hudson. So,
Yeah.
If you, so people at home, please come to the microphone.
It's been a long day for Tommy.
Yes?
Evening, everyone.
Welcome.
My name's Andrew Hall. I was just voted in as the interim trustee on Cold Spring. Nice to meet you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So I have limited understanding of this, but I'll explain to you as much of it as I can. A couple of years ago, as you all remember, we had that very heavy downfall, and the way the water drains from the hillsides around Cold Spring towards the Hudson River, there's been continual flooding in that portion of the roadway. It's down by the park, below the Riverview Restaurant, if you know that. So the village undertook to make some repairs. It received an allocation of funding. It hasn't received it yet, but FEMA funds to make those repairs. But as I understand it, and maybe you can speak to it better than I can, a portion of the drainage needs to run beneath the roadway on Fair Street just before it hits the county road, number 17, at the edge of the village of Cold Spring. So that land, as I understand it, was under the ownership of the county. It was going to be transferred to the town, but to facilitate matters, the land was going to be transferred to Cold Spring or conveyed to Cold Spring because it seemed that that was a more sensible and more efficient way for everything to happen. Why did it need to be in the county's land?
Stormwater,
It could be-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go a little out of order. Legislator Montgomery, you seem to have
Yeah, but-
familiarity, so
Yeah,
please.
there's a tiny parcel of land that the county owns, and this is needed so that the village can do their stormwater repair, but there's still an underlying parcel, very small parcel, that the county still owns, and we're trying to determine through the state and real property the exact, which has nothing to do with this, so I don't know why I'm, fusing it.
Yeah.
But I really want the other portion of this to come before us soon, too, because we have sidewalk issues, and I think the only way to get this moving along is to get these things resolved. So I'm really happy this is getting done. This conveyance will help the village of Cold Spring get their work done, so it's necessary.
Through the chair, it's two separate parcels, right? So the outflow is going to be where the maintenance part is. The other part is the roadway piece, which is .16 miles of Fair Street in Cold Spring. That part's going to take a little longer, but the construction going on, we gave permission, obviously, as a county, to the town to do that work. So
To the
the
village.
conveyance for where the outflow comes, that can go, in fact, it's, I believe it is in the office, but somebody else is working on it.
I've been working with Lowell on this, I'm sorry to.
Lowell has it, yeah,
Yeah.
Lowell has it now, right. And I'm pretty sure it's pretty buttoned up.
Okay.
That piece.
Yes.
And that can go out tomorrow, now, obviously. The secondary piece gives them permission to work on our piece of property of the roadway, which we'll look to convey at a later date.
So you need this domino to fall right now.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
And this will be, like you said, it'll be maintenance taken over by the town of Cold Spring anyway, so where it should be.
Gotcha. Okay, now I'm going to go back. Any comments, questions from the committee? Other legislators? Public?
May I just ask a follow-up question? I just wanted to reiterate that there are two pieces to this, which is the underwater and the roadway. But if the vote were to go ahead tonight, what would be the sort of the timeline for that actual transfer to occur?
All going to fall in that, conveyance wouldn't take long.
I would estimate 45 to 60 days, between 30 and 60 days. Just to the scheduling is the best estimate. Sure.
So this will go to the, through the chair, this will go to the full legislative meeting, which is September 2nd.
And just to say thank you all for your work.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Welcome to local government.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Other business? I don't see any other business. Ms. Harris, you said you wanted to speak on an agenda item?
I think what I'm going to do, I do want to speak on it, but I think I'll just email the legislative board, because actually I just wanted to make sure that you would denounce the mailers that have been sent out denigrating the Black, Latino, and LGBTQ communities. You know, I just wanted to make sure that that was going to happen, whether you put in social media on your webpage, or even have a press conference behind it, because otherwise I would feel like I would really need to ask you for a tax exemption, because I want to be represented as a constituent in this county. So I'll just send you all an email about it.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Being that there is no other business, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And thank you to everyone in the public.
Did you have a special thought? I'm gonna.
Okay.
Andrew, we're doing sales tax, just so you know. Sales tax. This is the sales tax vote. Seriously, you want to stay for this? It'll be quick, maybe.
It will be.
Sorry.
It'll be quick. Okay. Good evening and welcome to the special meeting of the Putnam County Legislature called by the clerk at the request of the chairwoman. Today is August 20th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remain standing for the legislative prayer. Please, we ask for guidance this evening in fairness to all the issues we have before us. Amen. Roll call, please.
District 1, Legislator Montgomery. Here. District 2, Legislator Goulman. District 3, Legislator Adnizio.
Here.
District 4, Legislator Russo.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Elmer.
Here.
District 6, Legislator Yonke. District 7, Legislator Birmingham.
Here.
District 9, Legislator Crowley. District 8, Chairwoman Sage.
Present. Agenda item number 4 is an approval for sales tax adjustment. The county legislature of Putnam County is imposing taxes on sales and use of tangible personal property and of certain services on occupancy of hotel rooms and on amusement charges pursuant to Article 29 of the tax levy of the state law. We are approving a resolution to continue our 1% sales tax and share a percentage of our sales tax with our towns. This was passed by our Senate and Assembly, and it was signed by the governor's office, and now it's our job here to pass it again at the legislature. Discussion.
We need a second, do you? Do you need a second?
Do I need to make a motion?
Well, You're moving it, right?
I'll move it, yes.
I'll second.
Discussion.
It's just a preliminary matter. As we discussed in the past, I'm kind of glad we are getting our county share of sales tax as well. But again, my firm represents 2 villages and a town that would be sharing. And I just did speak with the deputy county attorney. Although they're not mentioned here in this, by operation of law, they'll receive it. But I still think out of an abundance of caution, I'm just going to abstain. I don't anticipate that, well, I don't know. But I just want to put that out there. I want to be consistent, and I don't want to
Thank you.
do anything.
Any other legislators' questions, comments?
Can I?
Legislator Russo.
Thank you. I just want to say, I know this took us a long time to come to an agreement, and I'm thankful to everybody involved all the way up into Albany, as well as my colleagues here, and hopefully the towns and all its residents will benefit. So thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you for your words, Legislator Russo. I agree, and this is an historic event. For as long as I've been in local government, I've been, hoping that the county would give back a portion of the sales tax to the towns and villages, and maybe it wasn't how I wanted to see it initially, but I'm really glad and thankful also that we have something to give to the towns and villages.
Anyone else? Legislator Elner.
When we started this whole process, I would have, and I'm also speaking for Legislator Adonisio, we would have preferred to give a greater amount to the towns and villages and not tie it to sales tax. I wanted to reduce sales tax by 1%, but we are where we are. Towns and villages are getting, I think it's estimated around $2.4 million. Legislator Adonisio and I wanted to give $5 million for 2 years and not raise the sales tax. So reluctantly, I'm going to have to be voting for this because it's an all or nothing.
Any other legislators? It did take us a while. We started this, we had a lot of discussions on this, and as chair of the legislature, I'm proud of all the discussions we had. They were contentious, difficult. We had a hard time getting through it. We didn't always get along. Everyone had their own ideas, but that's government, and I think we did it in a transparent way, and we continued the conversation. Again, maybe there was some compromise here. Nobody always gets exactly what they want, but I think in the end, I think the taxpayer will benefit because it is going back to the towns, and it will benefit each of the towns. So in the end, it does end up benefiting the taxpayer. So with that, I will ask for a roll call vote so everyone has their voice heard.
Legislator Adonisio.
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham.
Abstaining for the reason stated.
Legislator Crowley. Legislator Elner.
Boy, I can have a little fun right now, right?
Don't do it. It's been fun enough.
Okay, yes.
Legislator Goulman. Legislator Yonke. Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Russo.
Yes.
Chairwoman Sage.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Awesome. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 5. This is an approval for the seeker for the agricultural district. I would like to remove this, I'll make a motion to remove this from the agenda since we tabled it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda item number 6 is the stipulation for inclusion. I will ask that we remove this from the agenda since it was tabled from the previous discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 7 is an adjournment. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We did it.
Good talk.